Hello, and welcome to the movie universe. I'm your host, Movie Fan. Today, I'm going to be talking about an awesome show that was really short-lived. Swat Kats, the Radical Squadron. Swat Kats was an animated TV show about two renegade pilots named Chance and Jake, better known as T-Bone and Razor. By day, they work in a salvage yard, but when trouble's on the rise, they put on their uniforms and masks, and they jump into their jet they call the Turbo Cat, and they fight crime. An awesome show full of tons of action. And believe it or not, this is one of the few TV shows where we don't get a first episode showing us how this all got started. At least until later on, when they do a semi-flashback episode kind of explaining how they became the SWAT Kats. Or I should say, why they became the SWAT Kats. They used to be police officers, or enforcers as they're known. They tried to capture this top bad guy called Dark Cat. But the commander tried to butt in, and they ended up destroying enforcer headquarters. So they were fired, and they had to pay for the damages. How are they going to do that? By working in the salvage yard until they worked it all off. And it is from that scrapyard that they build the Turbo Cat. Pretty awesome, huh? They actually built that plane all by themselves out of all the scrap metal and everything that comes into that junkyard. Everything that happens in this show is just so awesome. The animation is perfect, absolutely perfect. You know how with most animated TV shows, there's always some slip-up or some flaw, like the colors mix or something like that? That does not happen in this show at all. They're all perfectly done. It's all in perfect order. Everything looks great. The colors are bright, vibrant. I came into the show later because I didn't have cable back then. In fact, the only reason I know about this show is because they released it on Boomerang some years ago, and I caught every episode. The show really kind of had everything that anyone could really want in an action series. When they jump into their plane, the Turbo Cat, that plane is awesome. It seems like there's nothing that those two cannot accomplish. They shoot every kind of crazy missile that they create. And they end up fighting mutants, aliens, you name it, they fight them and they win. And it's not just the Turbo Cat that has all these tricks. They've had a few other things too, like the Turbo Mole, which only appeared in one episode where they dig underground and face these giant scorpion creatures. And then there was the Thunder Truck. They used that truck to fight aliens for a brief period of time. But there's also their Glovatrix. That's what they call those gauntlets. Those things just have everything. Miniature missiles, miniature weapons, shields, the works. And if our heroes aren't cool enough, the villains are actually really awesome. You got Dark Cat, this big giant cat who just does all kinds of evil things you could possibly think of. You got Dr. Viper, who's a mutated cat who loves to mutate creatures and try to turn the city into his own mutant home. There was even one part he turned into like a Dr. Viper Godzilla. That was really awesome, by the way. The Metallic Cats, who basically, as you may expect, they're metal and they're robots, but they were people once. The Past Master, who can control time. It's kind of unbelievable that here I am saying that the villains were awesome, but they were. The good guys were just as awesome. Mostly the SWAT Kats, but there's always one character I've always kind of liked. Commander Farrell, who, believe it or not, was voiced by legendary voice actor and radio DJ Gary Owens. I know a lot of people would probably say that they didn't care much for Commander Farrell because he was the one who never trusted them, he never liked them, he never liked how they did things, and in a way he was kind of a glory seeker. However, I think he was cool, because he wasn't your typical officer. Now what I mean by that is, for most commanders or high-ranking officers, all they usually do is sit behind a desk, bark orders, and just say, okay, go out there and get killed. Hope you come back alive. Have fun. He doesn't do that. He gets out into the field and tries to take down the bad guys. How many high-ranking officers can you say have actually done that or would do that? And there was even a few times that he and the SWAT Kats actually worked together. Because there were times that even he had to say that he could use all the help he could get. It was a great show, but sadly it only lasted for 2 years. Why? Nobody knows. That is a sad fact. They pulled the plug on it, and nobody knows why. There's a lot of rumors going around that supposedly they thought it was too violent for little kids, and there's even some stories claiming that Ted Turner pulled the plug on it. There's even some excuse claiming that because the toy market didn't really come out, they just pulled the plug on it. I want to make this clear. Those are just theories roaming around online. There's really no proof. Nobody knows why they pulled the plug on it. It is true that very few toys made it out on the market. There was even a Super Nintendo game that I never even knew existed. If I ever see that game, I'm getting it. Fact is, we'll never really know why they pulled the plug on it. There was an attempt to revive the series, but unfortunately, it never happened. Why? I don't know. It just fell through, and it's never been talked of ever since. However, in recent years, they've come out to DVD, so you can actually look them up on Amazon or eBay and buy the whole season. I would highly suggest that you get the DVD and watch them. And I'll tell you this, when you see it, you are going to be blown away by the amazing artwork and storytelling that they put into this. This is Movie Fan, signing off.